Many people recognize dogs as very protective animals. When the female dog owner became pregnant, she was completely caught off guard by her dog's reaction. He wouldn't stop barking, and eventually she found out the shocking reason for this odd behavior. If you keep watching, you'll also be able to find out special sense. Many animals are sensitive to their surroundings. Dogs are no exception. In fact, dogs have shown that they have the ability to recognize the slightest change in energy. This is especially the case when a woman is pregnant. When Hannah Butler found out that she had become pregnant, she and Ricky, her fiancé, couldn't be happier. For the longest time, they had wanted to start a family together. Although they were trying for a baby, the journey to getting pregnant wasn't an easy one. However, this dream of theirs was finally going to come true. Prior to her pregnancy, Ayane was already nurturing her maternal instinct through her dog, Kola. Kola was a very sweet dog who had always been well behaved. However, when she realized that Han was pregnant, she had become even more gentle than she already was. After a few months, things began to change. Not only did Kola paw at Han's belly non-stop, she also began to bark. In particular, she barked at her owner's belly because it was so unlike her dog. Han was initially quite surprised. Nevertheless, she chose to ignore Kola's strange behavior, or at least she tried to. Several weeks passed and Han's pregnancy seemed to be okay until it wasn't. There was a pain which started in her back so sudden and so sharp that it affected her ability to walk. She wasted no time in telling Ricky since she was scared that it had something to do with the pregnancy. With hopes that her unborn child was fine, the two of them hurried over to the hospital. When she got checked up at the hospital, the doctors assured Han that there didn't seem to be any problem. It was normal for pregnant women to experience back pain due to the heaviness of carrying a baby. Han's symptoms seemed to be nothing out of the ordinary. Trusting the judgment of the medical professionals, Ricky and Han decided to head home straight. When the couple got back home, Han went on Facebook to talk to her friends. She shared her situation with them, telling them about Kola's strange behavior and the doctor's nonchalant. However, her friends warned her not to ignore her dog since it was possible that Kola's instincts could be detecting something. Finally, Ayane spoke to her mother, and she ended up advising her daughter to go back to the hospital. After all of these talks, Ayane chose to listen to their advice. After going back to the doctors for a second time, it had turned out that Kola's instincts were right. After all, she had a double kidney infection, and if they hadn't detected it at that time, her life would have been at risk. The doctors immediately acted on this news and gave her the needed treatment once her treatment ended and her kidney was healthy again. It wasn't long before it was time for her to give birth. Her labor had no complications, and she gave birth to a boy who she and Ricky named Lincoln. Eventually, the family returned home. Kola was waiting for them, and she developed an instant connection with the baby boy. Lincoln was basically a brother to her. It was all because of Kola that Han and Lincoln were safe. What a sweet ending to this story. Did you also think that Han should have immediately listened to Kola's barking? What would you have done in her situation? It's a good thing that it all worked out for the better and that the family is now happy and healthy. Golden Retriever with a golden heart in China. There was another example of a loyal dog showing its protective side when it came to its owner's pregnant belly. The name of the dog is Dan Dan, and he is a 2-year-old Golden Retriever of Zai. This 25-year-old woman was around 6 months pregnant when she posted a video of her dog standing close to her like a guardian. This video ended up going viral online. In the short clip, XAI is standing in front of a full-length mirror showing off her protruding belly. And Dan's face shows that he is taking his role as the protector very seriously. In fact, his owner even said in the video, "I'm 24 weeks pregnant now, and my dog is treating this pregnancy more seriously than me." She ends up commenting on his facial expression, stating he is always sticking around and giving me this long face. He is highly alerted whenever someone comes close to me. Apparently before her pregnancy, Dandan used to be a highly playful pup who would always make a mess. He wasn't too concerned about his owner's safety or well-being. However, when she became pregnant, this all changed. In fact, she can't even exercise in peace anymore. It turns out that whenever she tries to exercise, her dog puts his leg on her. As if telling her that she shouldn't be moving around too much, he sits with me on the sofa and sometimes puts his head on my baby bump. It is the cutest thing ever said. She said that she would never have imagined that her super playful and naughty dog would end up becoming so serious and careful. Since sensing the baby inside his owner's belly, Dan's protective instincts have taken over a soft spot. In this next story, the situation is pretty similar to the previous one. A woman and her husband recorded the moment that their dog realized that his owner was pregnant, and they posted it online. After this TikTok video ended up receiving more than a few million views, loads of people shared and commented because they found the reaction of the dog to be very heartwarming. When Ryan recorded and posted a TikTok of his wife and Doug, he was caught off guard by just how popular it had become. In the video, his wife is calmly sitting on the sofa. Their female pit bull Nova stands over her with her two paws and legs placed protectively on her owner's waist. Nova and the wife are leaning towards each other with their heads pressed up together. You can hear Ryan chuckle behind the camera before he asks, "Nova, what are you doing?" The pregnant wife kisses Nova's head, clearly finding her dog's reaction to be endearing. "Nova, what are you doing?" Ryan asks for the second time, "Are you protecting?" Nova then places her forehead on top of the wife's torso, tilting her head downwards as if she can smell something within her owner's belly. The wife gently rubs Nova's head. Many of the commenters loved Nova's response, and several shared their own similar experiences. Someone even pointed out that Nova's body language indicates that she is feeling dominant, but by leaning her head down on her owner's belly, she has made a claim that she will protect the baby always there. Back in 2002, David and Alicia adopted a puppy, an 8-week-old, which they had fallen in love with. Instantly, the puppy Marley was their best companion. As the couple navigated their student years, David looked back at the memory of Marley, stating he was a great dog. From the very beginning, he was very gentle and compassionate. Even though the pair appreciated Marley, they had no idea that the dog would end up saving Alicia's life as well as the life of their unborn child. In 2014, Marley joined the couple as they went on a hike on San Diego's Battle Mountain. At the time, Alicia was 4 months pregnant with a girl who the couple would later go on to name Madeline. This mountain hike ended up getting steeper as they got closer to the top. Due to this steepness, Alicia decided to pick up a stick so that she could use it for support. As she walked, as she bent down, Marley suddenly darted away from David's side. The dog rushed over to where Alicia's hand was digging and clawing around that area. David initially thought that Marley was attacking the ground. However, he took a few steps closer and noticed that there was a coiled rattlesnake. Because of Marley's actions, the snakes slithered away. Later that day, when the couple returned to their home, they were overwhelmed with emotion. They reflected on just how bad the day could have been, but how lucky they ended up being. Marley's protective instincts ended up saving their lives. Although Marley passed away before he could meet Madeline, Alicia and David will never forget how their dog saved Madeline's life. It's amazing to think of how a dog's single courageous act could end up impacting someone's life for years to come, barking to save a life. This final story is similar to the very first one. It was through a dog's constant barking that the lives of a pregnant woman and her baby were both saved. Louis, a golden doodle, who was only 1 year old at the time, ended up being a hero to his owners.